At the beginning of the year, the Middle East's biggest private equity firm that's active here in the Gulf region, Abraaj Capital, said that it has about $3 billion to spend in the next couple of years. So where are the buying opportunities right now? Joining me is the CEO of Abraaj Capital, that's Arif Naqvi, joining me here in Dubai.
Nice to be here.
$3 billion. Where are you spending that?
Across the region. I think the buying opportunities are beginning to come back, and they're very compelling because most firms have gone through a period of introspection, have gone through a period of consolidation within their own portfolios. And at the end of the day, transactions are done when you have willing buyers and willing sellers. And we're now reaching the point where sellers are beginning to understand that in order to keep growing, in the absence of bank debt and in the absence of substantial activity in the capital markets, private equity is the answer.
What's different right now, though, in terms of the opportunities you're finding? Last year, liquidity basically dried up. Are you revisiting deals you were looking at 2 years ago, or are they focused in new areas?
I think any good, prudent private equity fund manager will always revisit transactions, whether we bought them or not, and see whether it was a good decision at the time. I think transactions that we looked at 2 years ago are coming back at more compelling valuations, and I think the opportunities that is giving rise to is extremely beneficial to private equity.
Does it take longer to get deals done these days?
Private equity in the Middle East is always a relationship business, so it has always taken a year or two to gestate a deal, and it will continue to be so. So we're always on the lookout, and we're always talking to prospective sellers.
Now, today you had some news. Your own firm made some headlines. You had a $375 million rights issue.
We increased our capital by a third, yes.
To, what is it, $1.5 billion
yes.
right now.
Yes.
How'd you do that?
By going back to our investors and by...
New investors?
No, our existing investors.
Okay.
And the great thing about that is, by all of our investors coming back in, it's a very, very compelling and strong vote of confidence, not just in Abraaj Capital, but in the industry in general. Because at Abraaj, we're very proud of the fact that all our funds, 6 funds, and we manage about $6 billion, are all performing above par. So that has only happened because, if you make the investments at the right valuations, then when the tough times come, you can continue to keep your head above water.
Now, in the private equity space, you're about to get a little bit of competition, we hear. Blackstone has stated the intention to expand here in the Middle East, particularly in the Gulf.
Yes.
What does the competitive space look like to you?
Well, they've been wanting to come here for a while, and Carlyle is here and a number of other firms, and we welcome it because at the end of the day, new firms coming in, especially firms that have a long track record, will only help to enhance governance structures in the region and bring further deal flow compared to just a few of us who were there before.
Now, we
will continue to do better deals, of course.
You will do better deals?
Abraaj will always do that.
What's the competitive advantage there?
Long-term relationships. We've been here for a very long time, and the fact that we're known and trusted, and we have these deep-rooted relationships, and people know us as being empathetic investors. Because
particularly in the mortgage space, in the housing-related industries, those locally based firms in some ways are at a different disadvantage, particularly with margins as a result of what happened with the real estate bust.
Yes. Well, you see, we've never invested in real estate in the region before, but now for the very first time we are beginning to look at it. Because we have a number of very, very compelling opportunities, especially in the area of creating real estate investment trusts, because yield opportunities in the region, because of the valuation decrease, have become very compelling. As prices in real estate have gone down, long-term tenancies to prime tenants have resulted in the yield going up, and the same developers that were developing these properties are now selling them because they need to complete other projects. So there is a dysfunctionality has caused a compelling investment opportunity.
UBS was out there saying 25% of the homes here in Dubai are going to be unoccupied next year. There are forecasts of declines in prices by Deutsche Bank and UBS saying 20% decline.
I think the one thing...
What do you think of the valuation?
I think the one thing that this crisis has shown me is that there are no experts in the world. We've heard all sorts of projections, and I personally believe it all depends on how the economic opportunity turns out. If more businesses come into Dubai and the economic environment, if we're talking about Dubai, continues to improve as I'm seeing it improve, then I think that more people will be coming back in. So, all those prophets of doom, in my opinion, are really, frankly, very short-sighted. I have a very simple philosophy, which is if you look around at Dubai, and you've been here for a few days, you look around at the infrastructure that has already been created. You can't look at it as a single point in time. We're here for the next 50, 100 years of infrastructure development.
Well, we're going to follow what you're doing and where you're active. Thank you so much, Arif Naqvi, as the CEO of Abraaj Capital, joining us live here in Dubai.